if somebody is in a 401k and they say, we've talked kind of about how you can keep your money safe with a fixed indexed annuity. But if they're in a 401k and they say, well, where do I put my money that I can get the same return or more? We talked about the fixed index annuity. What's another product that people don't know about that they can actually put their money in and get the same financial effect or create their own pension that's not a fixed indexed annuity?
Yeah, you mentioned it just a bit ago. People think of life insurance, they only think of one thing. It's death insurance, but it's not called that. It's called, it has the term and phrase life insurance, but people don't look at it in a mentality that says this could be beneficial to me while I'm alive, to myself and my potential family, or legacy purposes. There's products, permanent products, not simply saying I'm buying a life insurance plan that gives me $200,000 of death benefit. That's a term insurance. There's a starting point and an end point. You pay premium for 10, 15, 20, possibly 30 years. And when that's done, if you've outlived it, the insurance expires. If you die prematurely, then that death benefit is given to your beneficiaries. There's permanent policies out there that allow you to not only have a death benefit, but allows you to build cash inside these plans that are potentially tax-free, potentially, not always, depending on how they're structured and how they're utilized and how they're paid for. So there's potential to have tax-free status within these plans, again, hedging against loss. There's no loss capabilities, there's gain capabilities. It's, again, going back to things that we've talked about, hedging against taxes, hedging against possible losses, and that EKG mentality. When you put all these types of things together, there's a real capability within a plan like that allows you to utilize your own asset to your advantage throughout your lifetime. It becomes, in essence, a living benefit, meaning you can utilize this to possibly buy a vehicle for yourself. You can possibly educate your children, maybe, depending on what you're trying to do with your life. You can possibly put a down payment on a primary residence, your home, or maybe you have a home and you want to go acquire property that might be vacation property, the rentals, or you might want to acquire a multifamily unit that might be, in essence, an apartment building, to where those are classified as investment properties, to where you can utilize the cash inside that to put the down payment on that particular property. Well, now all of a sudden you're making money within, you're growing your cash inside your policy, inside your plan. But if you've utilized it in that fashion, you now are possibly making money on those properties as well. So all of a sudden you've made $1 act like $2. So because you're generating gains in both of those things. So when we talk about utilizing cash in that way, it's almost like you're, in essence, becoming a banking system for yourself and for your family, to where you can utilize your own cash without penalty. Those rules, like the 59.5 rule that we talked about earlier, does not apply. You can access the cash whenever you like. You can access it without telling them why you're accessing it, just simply stating, I want X amount of dollars out of my policy, if it's available, and you take it out and utilize it in any fashion you want. I'm doing that as we speak. For my son, my oldest, that's in college, I'm exercising money out of that plan to pay tuition, and it's not hindering my growth in my plan by exercising that, but it's not damaging my bottom line budget for my family from one day to the next, because I've had to come up with X amount of dollars for tuition. So there's so many different ways. Buying vehicles can be handled so much differently. Instead of paying someone for that vehicle, where you have a monthly payment going to either the manufacturer or the bank or whomever you've bought it through, instead you pay it through your plan, take the cash out, and you systematically pay yourself back. So instead of paying someone else for that feature, you pay yourself for that feature, and you don't lose the interest. There's just ways to handle this that are just more efficient use of your dollars. And people don't really understand how that can truly work for them. And you hear a lot of negativity with plans like that. And in most cases, a lot of people don't understand that it can be utilized in that fashion outside of just, It's a cash venture possibility on the side with a death benefit. Okay, that sounds all well and good, but they don't understand how to utilize that to their advantage throughout their life. And then fast forward, it can be supplemental income in retirement that you don't have to pay taxes on. So it just, there's so many different things that can be done. And when you look at the big scope to kind of rewind everything we've been talking about, you put 401ks, IRAs, mutual funds, Roth IRAs, all these kinds of things in place. If you have stuff like that, and you put these additional features and assets into your portfolio, everything just works differently because now you have fail safes for yourself. And now the risk factors that are in these other plans that might be deferred taxes and things like that, they don't hit you as hard at the end because you're not as worried about you're still worried about taxes, but you have something behind you that can kind of ease that pain and ease that burden a little bit because you've put things like this with it. Again, all eggs in one basket, like we said earlier, I'm not a fan of. I'm not saying that the fixed index annuities and the permanent insurance are the be all end all as well. But when you put all these things together and you truly formalize a plan that's working on that person's behalf, and they're the ones involved with those decisions, that's where the education from us, that's where I think we kind of strive, is we try to educate people on what is available and allow them to make a decision, an educated decision for themselves of what's in their best interest, not what is in our best interest.
So you're saying that you can pretty much use life insurance to insure against the uncontrollable and controllable situations that are coming down the pike in life.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
death insurance.
Yes, and I just think it's not looked at that way. And I just don't think people understand it enough to utilize it in that fashion. And they see it in a lot of cases. I'm just buying death insurance. And for a lot of people, they don't see that as a positive venture for themselves and think it's a waste of time. In some cases, that might be reality, but to be able to look at things and put everything together and what someone's trying to do, this could be a very valuable piece.
Yeah, it's awesome.